Hey everyone, welcome to the video. And today we have Tapas with us. He is a content creator, web developer, a senior developer who has a decade of experience in content creation and open source as well. So we are going to discuss about how you can start your web development journey, open source contributions, technical writing, content creations, and job market, which is the most important topic that we are going to discuss in this episode. So hey Tapas, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thanks a lot for inviting me to the session. Hope I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks. Give us an introduction to the audience, like how you started with technical things and when you firstly introduced to open source.
Yeah, so technical things I started probably long back, way back when I started my career as a software developer. And before that, of course, I passed my engineering as a computer science and engineering from that department. So I had some programming knowledge before that, but full-fledged programming, production level coding, I started with my first organization where I worked. And since then, the thing started, and it was like, of course, a roller coaster journey over many years. It's been almost like 17 years, 17, 18 years now that I have worked on various different softwares, product, and building the team and all the stuff. So a majority of the journey, I have not really worked on open source. It is just, I think, late 2013 or 14 when I first came to know that there is something called open source. Though I was working in a company which were encouraging open source a lot, but I was not really in that mindset that I'll be doing open source because there were no such mentor who can tell me like, okay, there's something called open source. You can go look into it. Okay, these are the advantages and all these things. But gradually, I figured out when I was actually working on an issue and a customer needed some fix. Then I filed the issue on that open source project, and they were taking some time, and that forced me to kind of fork the repo and keep pushing the changes that I was actually looking for. And luckily, it got accepted.
Okay.
And then we could do a build to the customer, and the customer was also happy. Then I figured, oh, this is a different way of doing things. It's like you build in public, at the same time we are actually getting benefited, the company also getting benefited, and people in the organization was also telling that, okay, this is a good thing that you did. So that's when I got the motivation first time for open source, and it continued from there.
That's great. That's a great story. And yeah, like right now, a lot of people think like started exploring the open source if they want to get real hands-on practice. But like there are different things in open source as well, like for students who don't have any basic fundamentals clear, or they didn't gain some experience to building by their building their project on, and they still start contributing to open source and they failed some overwhelming or looking the large code base, they feel they are not good enough to contribute to open source. What do you want to suggest to them? Just like take some time to learn more about the technology you want to learn and then start contributing. Don't just jump to open source. What do you want to suggest to them?
Yeah, the way that I want to suggest is like first try to understand the open source culture and see like whether you fit in already directly there, or what are the things that you need to do to get fit in. This is the first thing I'll tell. So today, what happened is like today awareness of open source has increased than what
Yeah,
it was like 2 to 3 years back. Maybe people like me would have spreaded the awareness, and there are many other like who keep spreading the awareness. But the downside of it is like not many people are really teaching the open source culture that people should have, especially the new guys, new folks, with
I
lot
agree.
of josh that they're coming, but they, without knowing the culture, they're trying to do something which is backfiring. Very recently we saw with a very well-known
Yeah,
library that people are just
yeah,
raising read me pull requests, right? So I somehow feel pity for those folks who have done that. They are misled, I mean, by a lot of other people, and they are hearing some very superficial voice saying that, okay, if you do open source you will get a job, you do open source you do this, so let me just do this in whatever. I don't know the culture, I don't know what is open source, I don't know what is exactly demanded, but it's eventually backfired them. Those people I see very, I feel very bad that their name is being circulated in on the screenshot, and with their GitHub ID name, everybody can read their name. Like,
yeah.
so it's,
Agree.
it's it's actually bad, right? So first thing I will tell, you understand the culture and see like whether you fit there. If you don't fit there, give yourself time to fit yourself, because if you are coming to a world where you don't know people, it's not your office. The people are completely virtual, and you also have to get accepted by them, and you have to accept them. So, do you have that mentality? Technology, all these things come probably the last, I'll say. First thing is the knowing the culture. Then, do you have a collaboration mindset? Right, those things, and after
Yeah.
that only then you start learning that, okay, what is the technology that I am having strength on, and what are the technologies that I am planning to learn, and based on that you go select the project, and then you see like what you can contribute to.
Yeah, I agree. And also, the respect among the open source community, the people who really passionate about that thing and they contributing from last several years, they also feel bad when this thing happens. They also feel
Yep.
this is not something people want to do. And in terms of respect, also they felt like this is bad. But yeah, people need to understand, like, first adopt that culture open source, try to understand collaboration thing, and then push the technology and other stuff as well. So,
Yep.
how the content creation start with you? Just like technical writing and YouTube and other things. Like how you started and why you started actually that stuff. That's curious to know.
Why I started? Okay, I started blogging first, and I started maybe around 4 years back, I guess, around 4 years back. It was like all of a sudden, to be very honest with you, nobody told me like, what is the power of blogging, what do you
Okay.
get like being a technology blogger. Nobody have told, and neither I was on like Twitter, LinkedIn, and on all these places active. I was just a very decent guy, used to go to office, do my work, and come back, kind of stuff. Then I thought like, okay, I have a lot of notes. I From the beginning I've been taking notes, so I have a lot of notes, and let's see, like, if we put these notes outside, whether people are going to bash me or they're going to like me. And that's when I kind of discovered Hashnode. They were also very new that point in time, so I created my blog on Hashnode, and then started writing articles. It is about like, take the things, whatever notes I have, and then make it public. It was just like that. First one I posted, there was very good reaction. I wrote about event loop, people liked it. Some 30, 40 people liked, and they gave some good reactions, and they told like this is good and all this stuff. Then I thought, okay, fine, then let's do more. I mean, once people appreciate, you do try to do more.
Yeah.
That's when we actually started doing it. And but down the line, what you feel is like, after doing maybe 10, 15, and 20, then that likeness, the people's getting like, people comment, all this thing becomes saturated. Like, you know, there's a similar kind of like coming, similar kind of people are coming, similar people are already giving you comments. So then how do you actually increase the reach? How do you make sure that your content is reaching others? So that is when I started kind of experimenting with all these things, like what kind of topic I should write, what will really people like. So that's how the journey continued, and then I started liking it. It's like, if you look into my article, it was more about the experiences. Even if there is a soft skill article, I write about whatever I experienced in my life. If it is a technical article, something that I do hands on, and I write about it. So I wanted to keep it lightweight so that it won't put any kind of pressure on me that I have to do one article, two articles, three articles. Though I get a lot of pressure nowadays for my YouTube. I want to do one video per week, but I failed. So after continuing for around 3 years, then I thought, okay, it's enough like about writing. Uh, so I will kind of come down a bit on my own blog. I was accepted for Free Code Camp a while back, and I'm actually contributing to them. Past 3 years, I've been in the top contributor list for contributing to Free Code Camp as a blogger. So I will actually write there Free Code Camp so that it reach more people than my blog. My blog also I'll write a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'll focus on YouTube video content, because I was a even now also I'm a camera shy person. It's like I I feel very shy when the camera comes out, and then talking to people on camera. Then I thought, okay, to kind of get rid of it, let me start doing some kind of public speaking. So I used to go to meetup, then public speaking, and with that kind of thing gone, then I started the YouTube, and I'm liking actually this video teaching actually. Teaching things by code, teaching things by clearing concepts. It's a lot more work on YouTube than blogging. Lot more work. You know that.
Yeah.
You are also video content creator, but it's something that I started enjoying a lot.
Yeah, and I think people are consuming video content more in today's era, apart like
Yeah,
except from the
I think it's a
everything.
kind of balanced. It's
Yeah,
a kind of balance because I know some people who don't like to consume video content. They like to do audio. I mean, the written things.
articles.
Why? Because yeah, articles. Why? Because they are the people who are actually maybe building something, and they need a small snippet of thing or small thing. They just can get it and get their work done. So these things that they cannot do from video. So those
Yeah,
kind of people are also looking for articles. So when I publish a video, if you go to the description of the comment section of the video, you will see that when did you publish an article for this? So people are still asking for article.
yeah. And I also want to highlight Tapas have a great blog on the React developer from not just limit. Some people limit it to their React roadmap to hooks and next libraries, but Tapas write a detailed article from JSX components to the testing like zero to end. So I will put the links in the description. People definitely give it a read.
Thank
I
you.
found it very helpful, and people will definitely get it. So
Thank
next
you.
thing, like, do you suggest people to write articles who are especially the students who are in the college and early in their career, they are building something or they are learning something? What do you want to share with them? They should start writing and share their journey in a public, or they should focus more on the
Yeah.
technical side?
See, they have to focus on the technical side. If they are the technical people and they want to do something technical in life, they have to do. But parallelly, I believe the content creation is a great thing because once you create content, you know the thing much more deeper because
Yeah,
content creation has a cycle called research. So it is not just about what you momentarily know. It is also about getting deep into it and trying to find out like what else I can know. And then I go about creating the content, right? At least that's how it is for me. So if you want to create content, it can be of any form. It can be blog, it can be video, it can be you writing post on LinkedIn, it can be anything actually. So put it in some kind of content creation form so that it brings certain amount of discipline also in you. I
yeah,
found writing is an awesome tool because before I started writing, my vocabulary was really bad. My English is still bad, but still my vocabulary was very bad. I didn't have the collection of words. But when I started writing, I found like, my words collections are really getting filled. I can use a lot of such words which I was not using before. So that way, you yourself, communication wise, writing wise, also you get better. But if you're not like one who wants to write, not everybody like to do blog. I can completely understand. But if
yeah,
it is like your forte is to do something else, please do something else. Sharing knowledge is something that as a developer we must do because if you see somewhere no an individual developer is connected to the global developer community, whether the other person you know or don't know, you're still part of the community. Someday maybe you
agree.
will cross each other's
Yeah,
road.
yeah, yeah.
So you have to share as you're grasping, you also share. It's your responsibility. That's how I see it. So I believe that to answer your question, like I believe developer should pick that up at least in some form.
Yeah, and to add something from my side, just first learn the technology, particular tech stack in depth, or not in depth, but at some level, you can build something, and when you write something about it, it will give the more confidence, and you can able to explain more in a clarity way. Someone can get definitely beneficial. Uh, Today, I see some of the students, some of the people who are in my age, they just want to write something because other people are writing, getting
Mm,
some numbers and some followers,
mm.
so they just want to get into technical writing and content creation stuff, and they want to just create. They don't want to add value and something want to learn and then write something. That's the bad part
Yeah,
that I felt.
yeah, absolutely. It's their choice, but only thing that I can actually tell you from my experience, like they won't sustain.
Yeah,
If they're not bringing value, it won't sustain. I mean, it's a simple math. If you gain say 10,000 followers, and what if tomorrow you don't have anything to do with it? What are you going to achieve with that, right? So
agree,
if you have 10,000 followers, you have gained because of some true content, some organically grown, authentic content. Tomorrow the 10,000 will become 50,000 in no time because you are in that particular path. Otherwise, you will be stopped. You will feel like, okay, this is too much. I'm burned out. I'm going to do something else. And why did you gain that, right? Why did you wasted your time?
agree. Yeah. And next thing to want, I want to ask, like, how someone can start their web development journey in 2024 in full stack way, not take it as a front end, because right now I also feel there are a lot of front-end framework bombarding in the market. jQuery recently launched. Astro is becoming the most popular right now because a lot of people sharing Astro is more faster than other libraries. So people try to shift learning Astro. Then again, Twitter started Astro, learn Astro, learn Astro, and that way. So uh, how do you see that? See this like how someone can start and end with good result.
How I see it, like as you told, it is very correctly, like there are so many technologies around and there's so many things are happening around. And how would someone focus on one and which one they should focus on whenever it comes in the web technology? So my again, my answer would be to going to the basics, and it might sound a bit old school, but I think that's what works. If you want to get started with web development, you first learn about web. You learn like how web works. You learn about the protocols. You learn about HTTP, HTTPS. You know, learn about how internet works. That's how you learn. So once you learn about the web, then you learn about the programming. So web programming is having web and programming both. So then you go to the from web fundamentals to programming fundamentals. So programming fundamentals are nothing to do with any programming language. Those are all programming's own fundamentals. For example, you learn about variables, you learn about the data types, you
Yes,
learn about the loops, conditions, data structure, algorithm. These are all programming language agnostic. Once you pick those up, then you go for your programming language. For example, if you want to do a JavaScript based web development, you learn JavaScript. If you want to do Python based Django and all these things, you learn Python. It's up to you what you're going to choose.
yeah,
Now, once you have one stack like JavaScript, on that now you can go, and if you want to learn a component based thing, learn React. You want to learn an event based thing, please go and learn Solid. Whatever you want to do, you have to learn API as a core fundamental things, not about learning Express, not about learning Nest.js. You have to first learn the fundamentally an API. Then
fundamentals.
yeah, using the fundamentals, you build something using Express or using Nest.js and things like that. Then you have a database. If you want to go to that extent that you want to learn a database, I think the basic idea of each of these pieces as a web programmer is very important, right? You know fundamentals of say JavaScript, some library or framework, then you know fundamentals of API, you know to write some API, you know the fundamentals of databases. I think this is pretty much important. But apart from that, there are also other awareness a web developers must have. For example, you need to know about accessibility, which a topic that everybody ignores, right? But if you're working in an MNC, and especially you have certain federal government, customers who actually looking into this accessibility so tough, they or don't accept your product, otherwise those are accessible. You are into soup because you don't know much about accessibility. You have to read that time. So have that awareness about accessibility, how it works. Then about the deployment, you created something, you want to deploy somewhere. What is scalable? What is costly? How cloud works? This kind of thing. So
This stuff.
web development is not just about this one JavaScript programmer or a React programmer or a person who knows API.
Yeah,
It's about all these things when you're getting into a company as a web developer or you're trying to build something on SaaS by yourself. You have to know all this. Now, all these things needs time. That's what people need to
yeah,
understand. If someone just starting their journey, they cannot expect all these things to know within 1 year. It is kind of impossible, right? You have to have your own plan. Maybe the first few years you focus on fundamentals plus one library, learning or a framework, learning it very well, working around there. Then you like spread your wing towards little bit of backend. Then you worry about performance. Then you worry about deployment. Then over the period of time, 5 to 6 years experience when you know most of it, then actually you're capable to build something completely on your own, right? Almost
agreed.
alone, right? So this is how I see it, like people should approach.
Yeah, and then people make it complex as well, and due to the social media stuff, that also makes some complex stuff because the actual understanding, as you mentioned, build a solid fundamentals first, learn about web fundamentals, how internet works, then shift to programming language and choose whatever the tech stack you want to go. Then the other frameworks will choose. Like the journey goes on. It's not the but patience is a key. People think like they will.
Definitely.
Yeah, people think like they will get a good understanding of programming within a month or 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, I think it's very important, especially I want to tell this if any newcomer is watching. It's like for you, fixing your goal is very important. I mean, if you want to be somebody who want to be in social media, want to earn some money, want to be rich, you really don't worry about programming much. That's what, to be very honest with you. You completely focus on doing that. Maybe the social media, that micro content creation, or posting some things on the trend. For example, AI trendy. People are earning a lot of
Yeah,
stuff. Tomorrow something else will be there. If your mindset is like that, you put your full energy into that. There is nothing wrong in that. Absolutely nothing wrong in that. If you want to be a programmer, if you want to be a good developer, that people will have respect for tomorrow, you focus on that. You no need to be in social media, to be very honest. To be very honest. But you
agree.
can be on social media because you need certain references sometime. You need some good people to interact with daily basis. You need to know like what is coming up only for that purpose. But nowadays the problem here is like mixing of these two. Like I want to be a great programmer, at the same time I want to be the great
Influencer.
influencer. uh, yeah, and if nobody looking at me, I live in FOMO, and one fine day I throw everything and I cry. So this is the
Agree.
problem of the generation that is kind of happening today, right? I may
Yeah,
sound that I'm from ancient and the old generation, but I'm talking from experience. So if you want to do something, go by your goal, devote yourself to it. Don't worry about the other things. You cannot achieve everything in your life. This is a hard truth, right, for everyone.
yeah, yeah. Like, things takes times. Like first build a solid technology stuff. First figure out the what you want to be. Then once you figure out, just deep dive into it, and then other things will automatically happens. The time. So you have to keep patience and just go for it. And next
Yeah.
stuff is building projects. Just like in web development, building project is a uh, it's a solid thing to learn in not just web development, the other things as well. So like do you suggest want to build projects, or after learning a particular technology in good
Yeah.
amount, just start contributing to open source? Like what is the best approach according to you?
I think the best approach would be is like as you learn things, you start building it, right? And today we have a lot of infrastructure available for free. For example, you have GitHub where you can actually put your code, have the version. You have a lot of cloud services which are for free,
Yeah,
where
free
you
tier
can host your
AWS.
code, yeah,
uh,
exactly. So host your deployables and all these things. So it means that you don't have to really spend any penny to get started with hands-on. So you can always do hands-on, make it social. And if you want to be media, you want to be in social media as a programmer, those are the things that you should mind sharing, right? You
yeah,
share your journey of how you have built that, AI powered tool. Everybody would love that. People who
agree.
even want to hire, they will love that, right? You may not gain that many followers by doing that, but you are going to gain reputation by doing that. That's the difference. People need to understand. And so you start with doing your own code, doing your own project building, and then try to seek for opportunities for the open sources, open and then various open source projects where your skill matches. But again, as I was telling, like first understand what is open source, how to be there, what not to do, what to do, all this kind of thing, and then you can start contributing to open source after that.
Okay, that's the right approach you can take. And next thing, how you see the job market in 2024 for especially for web developers? Because again, a lot of people complaining there are no job for JavaScript developers or web developers,
Yeah.
because when someone posts, there are thousands of people who are applying, and everyone say they are a web developer or front end developer. So how you see?
Yeah. So definitely the job market year by year is getting challenging because there are more number of people are coming than the amount of job is getting created. The ratio is not that proportionate.
Matching? Yeah,
So that's what actually creating the problem. And then very recently, I posted a job for a junior engineer. I got 1,000 this thing submissions for the post, right? So it means that there's so many people are actually looking for it, and it is hard for the recruiters also, right? You have to also go through this 1,000, then you have to do the selection process, screening, and all this stuff. So job, getting a job, the situation is right now, and the future also it will be maybe more challenging or like this. But what I see, people who really know stuff or they can sell their work. By selling, I don't mean that sell that to gain money. Selling means you can tell, articulate very clearly like what you have done and what is your potential. They get hired. It is absolutely like that. So it means that there are only very least amount of people, a handful of people who can do this, with lot of proficiency. Rest of the people are still needs to bring that caliber up. So These people, they not only learn, they know fundamental very well. They can do the project, build the project quite well. They can explain the project very well to anyone, and they show the attitude that they can actually, they're like water, they can get adjusted into any kind of stuff, they can learn things, they're curious. So these people, for these people are the one who are already in the front line for getting job when the opening comes. Rest of the people have to know like how to compete with them, how to challenge these people. Rest of the people, I will say, like, they are probably trying, but they are not seeing like how to get there. They are not aware of the path that how to get there, right? So that is where the challenge actually for the folks who are in the second category. For first category of the folks is like, they may get laid off, but they know very well that within a week they'll get the next job because they're prepared.
Agree.
That's the story. Today it is going to be like that. I mean, you may get laid off anytime because the layoff has nothing to do with the potential of the people today. With a lot of startup, we know the Twitter story, sometime back. There are a lot of things happen around with a lot of startup. You really don't need a solid reasoning that why a person is laying off. Maybe performance is a problem for a few, but rest of it you don't know. It's company's decision. But these folks who are already in that zone, they can get the next job much, much quickly. So that is where people need to be. That is the path that they need to find.
So for the audience, I will just simplify things. Build solid skills, understand what the market demands, and you will get job. And also, if you just laid off, you will get another job as well. But if you know the actual path, just don't
Yeah.
apply the companies. First, build the technical knowledge inside you, learn something, and then apply. Then you will figure out how to get job. Jobs are there for sure in the 24, but build a solid technical stuff. So that's how
Yes,
you,
yes, definitely.
yeah, yeah. And like, what are the best practices to find job through LinkedIn, Twitter, cold emailing that you want to share?
Yeah, yeah. I think the best way would be, I think LinkedIn is far better for the kind of job that people look for, which is like little more settled and all this kind of thing. It's not like 2 weeks of some gig. 2 weeks of some gig, I find a lot on Twitter, like that comes, but it is like more a longer term, professional job. I feel like LinkedIn is the best place, and that's where I would suggest folks that be visible on LinkedIn. That is where it connects to at that point, like, should I create content or not? Because if you just an account, think about it, just an account, and you're lying somewhere, who is going to notice you? There are
Agree.
so many accounts on LinkedIn. So you got to visible through your work. Now, if you are just sharing memes, who is going to hire you? Think about it. It's very, very, very practical. So what you need to do is like you need to share what you are learning. You need to share what you are building. You need to share what is potential. What is your potential? So it means that somebody who is looking at you, who was not looking at you before, but now you're visible, who is looking at you for next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, they know that constantly this person is learning, building, and his potential is increasing. I'll hire that person.
Agree.
So this is
Yeah.
how happens.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
recently hired 2 people from LinkedIn. Okay,
Okay.
so this is how it happened. It is just by the observation of the folks. Like you probably get a profile. Immediately I go to that person's profile. Okay, what are the things they are sharing? What are the things they are doing? What they actually highlight in their profile? Oh, they highlighted the GitHub project that they have done. Let me go to the GitHub project. Oh, it looks outstanding. Their GitHub profile looks like a good candidate to talk to. So the first impression creates a lot of value. So it's just not about being on the social media. It's not about living in FOMO, following some of your friends. It's about you. It's about representing you for yourself. So find a path for yourself. So that's the right way of getting job. And of course, create some good connections and references. I would say, right? You have to also spend time on other people, right? You have to find the people like whom you think are good, whom you can actually work with or can actually open up certain kind of channel. You can you can send them actually cold email, and just don't say hi on their DM. It's irritating. Actually, just say hi and there is no message.
Agree. Yeah.
Um, don't do that. I mean, if you are really DMing someone, be very authentic, like why you are DMing them. Like, okay, you might like something about that person, just tell about that, why are you reaching out, tell about everything, and then you will see that you will get a response. But if you just say hi, that is one type of thing you should stop, you must stop. Second is just send your PDF resume, can you review it and see I can get a job or not? No, nobody will reply, to be very honest.
Yeah, everyone have their
So
own.
prepare yourself, like, yeah. Yeah, you have to do your groundwork before you approach someone. Everybody is busy in their life, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think it's I see a lot of people sharing the same thing. Like, a lot of people DM, hey, hi, and sharing the resumes and links, and nothing to do with that, because you didn't get any understanding what someone wants from you. So you are not
Yeah.
going to entertain, or you're not going to any advice to them. So if you like someone work or content, just go and write, hey, I read your article, that's the great, I great, I feel very helpful to me, I appreciate them. But don't put the message hi, hello, that stuff. So that make no sense
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. And
Yep.
just want to say, what do you think the AI role will be there in the web development in next 2 3 5 years? Because see, on Twitter I see a lot of stuff. Just you have to just enter a prompt, create a website for
Mhm.
my freelance agency, and it will give me
Mhm.
a really cool UI based website. And functionality is everything. Just I have to just deploy it. Like, I think there is no work to do with from front end developer or something, that stuff. So how you see that evolution? Like,
Okay, why am I hiring front-end developers now? Okay, I don't necessarily see in that way. Maybe the world will move to that perfection sometime, and that time we'll be doing something else, something more crazy. Today, maybe we are focusing on still doing web development, mobile development, all this kind of stuff. And the AI has really made that easy for us in a sense. It's like it helps us a lot in that case, but still it has not reached to his entire perfection that it is going to replace a web developer, right? So the same question I actually get for content creation as a blogger, like, has AI is replacing the blogger and the blogging and all the stuff. So my answer is also same. It's like it is probably going to replace a developer or a blogger, a content creator, anybody who is not embracing AI. If you embrace AI, if you understand like what's its potential and what exactly it can do, you will automatically change your mindset around it.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are an organization, for example, if you know the potential of AI, every organization will try to cut down their cost, isn't it? As now I run a
Yeah.
company now, so I know what exactly it means. I'll reduce the cost. But does reducing cost mean always you cut the employees, you laying off employees? No, it is not. Reducing the cost maybe that yesterday I was doing certain things manually, my 5 people were doing. Today I got a tool, and those 5 people were doing the job in 6 months. Now I got a tool. If this tool is used by the same 5 people, they will be able to deliver it in 15 days. So this is
Agree.
a profit for me. And this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
how I will be seeing. Now what happened? The second part of the story. I take this tool to these 5 people. Two of them told that this is what they can use, they can learn. Three of them told that they can't learn. It's so complex. They are the people who are going to lose job. Those 3 people are going to
Yeah.
lose job,
You
not
have
these
to
two
be
people.
comfortable and flexible at the same time. Yeah.
That's it. So this is a simple equation. People have to understand. It is not like that one AI has come and everybody started losing job. It is something that if you are embracing it, if you know to learn, if you are curious enough to go, your job will be there. Otherwise,
Agree.
you will be doing something else.
That's the great advice. I will also take, because I never think in that way. Thanks Tapas for sharing that stuff. Yeah. So thanks Tapas. Thanks for coming and sharing your time. Just last thing to add, anything you want to share with the people who are looking for a job or starting their web development journey? What you want to add to their life or their from your side?
Yeah. So yeah, maybe what I can add is like you need to enjoy what you do. People will say, like, even in sports, everywhere, you got to enjoy what you do. The moment you stop enjoying, you stop doing. Okay, because you'll burn out and you'll stop doing. And the second thing I'll tell is like the fundamentals comes first. This is something I think from ages people are telling. It is not like now, but from ages we ignore because we are seeing something which is like very short lived with the social media or whatever it is. We're seeing things short lived, but we are not looking at something which is like little far reach. Who is actually falling and who is actually sustained to go more? The differentiation is something that we need to look for. History said it already. So
Yeah.
don't be part of the history in a wrong way. So be on the fundamental, learn fundamentals. I think you will rock.
Agree. Yeah. Thanks, Tapas. Thanks for sharing the valuable advices. I also personally learned a lot of things from you today, and I hope audience will get definitely helpful from this video. So thanks for Tapas coming and sharing your learnings. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye, Tapas.
Bye bye.